Well, hello there. For those select few who have yet to make my acquaintance, I am Sir Rodrigo the Don. This is Priceless Knowledge of Self. And I do believe you found yourself some cosmic insight this time. Indeed you have. And before we go any further, I do want to acknowledge that I see there's some kind of technical issue going on with the lighting. And for that, I do give my most sincere apologies. But the show must go on. Yes, it must. As you can see, in the room that I'm currently sitting in, there is no issue going on with the lighting. It's not giving a flicker. So there is no logical explanation for what must be going on. Maybe it's just my energy. But regardless, we're going to keep on trucking because we're going to make our crumpets today. And we have some big questions to ask. And hey, everything that we talk about, it always culminates, doesn't it? From what we're talking about with the lighting to all the big questions to even the voice I'm talking to you in right now. Because this right here, this is a little something about those people that have Mercury in the 9th house of their natal chart. Yeah. And see, before we even go there, if you don't know my style, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to tell you a little bit about Mercury. I'm going to give y'all a quick breakdown of what the energy that comes along with it is all about and how it might affect you. Then after that, we'll talk a little bit about what the 9th house of the astrological chart is all about. Then after that, we're going to bring it to a climax, a crescendo. And fortunately for you, that's my forte. So, without wasting any more of anyone else's time, let's get it cracking. So Mercury is named after the winged messenger of the gods, and it most definitely comes into our chart and commands us to speak. And that's because it rules over communication, intellect, logic, reasoning, as well as our attitude and our ability to create and express our thought processes. And when something is referred to as having a mercurial nature, the first thing that comes to mind for me is restlessness and motion. That's because with Mercury, things happen fast. That also makes it all about quick wit, quick thinking, possibilities, opinions, reasoning, and the ability to rationalize shit. And hey, it can be both good and bad, but either way it goes, it's going to be energizing regardless. And hey, this one right here, it prompts us to move on from one thing to the next and find answers on both a physical and a psychological level. And this is dexterous and perceptive energy. And it also rules over short trips, our siblings, transportation in general, speaking, writing, books, online communication, and learning. We'll never forget learning. All that right there is under Mercury's domain. And never forget that Mercury is never more than 28 degrees away from the sun. It only takes about 88 days to do its whole entire orbit. And it rules over the signs of Gemini and Virgo in the 3rd and the 6th house of the astrological chart. And it's neither masculine or feminine energetically. It kind of assumes the gender of whatever sign that it's in. And when we're talking about our Mercury sign, this is going to refer to our basic attitude, our mental habits, our communication style. Now, when we're talking about the house placement, this shows what area of life that plays out in the most and what area of life that we're thinking about a lot, to be honest, and what area we're most comfortable operating in mentally. And so in this case, we're talking about the 9th house. And so what's the 9th house? The 9th house is the house of philosophy for me. It's ruled by Jupiter in the sign of Sagittarius. And the search for meaning really takes precedence here. And, that really boils down to understanding what we see and feel by virtue of exploring new experiences. And, this is right here. This is about higher education. It's about psychology, theology, and all things involved with our voyage of discovery. For me, the 9th is the house of spirituality. This is where God lives. Or it's at least where we find something much greater than ourselves, which that could also indicate the laws or the systems that we govern our society by. Not as much as political systems, which is more Saturn's domain, but, universal principles that should be inherently understood. The 9th house is all about foreign culture and long distance travel, pastors, professors, psychologists, astrologers. Hey, psychics, philosophers, I don't know how to say that, philosophers, I don't know, falafels. Yeah, pardon me. All that shit is, 9th house shit. Look, I have my son in the 9th house, as we talked about. So you see it. Additionally, the 9th house is also about publishing, import and export businesses. And it really takes on a multi-generational view while it shows, both grandparents and in-laws and our relationships with such too. So that's something to consider. So when we're taking Mercury and putting Mercury in the 9th house, man, hey, I'm going to tell you now, in my opinion, this right here is a hell of a placement from a mental standpoint, because these are some of the most curious and philosophical people that you'll ever come across. No bullshit. These are those individuals who really want to experience everything in the whole world. So they're just kind of constantly looking for ways to broaden their horizons. But more than anything else, I'm going to tell you that comes along with this one, man, there's this inherent need to find meaning in their lives. So for that, they're always searching. And, that's actually a part of the beauty of this placement, because these people are so deeply in love with learning that they're going to keep searching for meaning and keep educating themselves until the very end of their lives. So it's no wonder they're so motherfucking intelligent, to be honest, man. For real, man. Look, mentor stimulation is everything here. And not only does a ninth house Mercury usually indicate an above average intelligence and a straight to the point communication style, but it also, I'd say one of the greatest strengths that comes along with this one is the capacity to see the big picture. I mean, to be able to see it all is a motherfucker. I'm telling you. Hey, these motherfuckers here are masters of putting all the details together and looking at all the little pieces and getting it into perspective in a way that helps them understand how the system works as a whole. For real. And that's a superpower in some cases, in my opinion, man. Plus, this one right here, this gives one of the most powerful intuitions that you're going to see in the zodiac, especially if their Mercury is in a water or a fire sign right here. So, yeah, man, they be on point. And I've also noticed that a lot of these folks right here are avid readers too, because they have such an insatiable hunger for wisdom. So they're always trying to soak up more and more knowledge. They're always searching, man. They're always searching in any and every way imaginable, man. This right here, this is mental agility, pardon me, personified. That's what I'm trying to say. And hey, it's a bad motherfucker, but you got to apply it like all of them. Okay. Because there's all kinds of things that come along with it. But speaking of mental agility, man, don't forget that the ninth is the home of Sagittarius too. So not only are they extremely curious, but their mind is extremely adventuresome too right here. So, hey, with Jupiter's influence, Mercury here wants to have a little fun too. Okay. That's what that adventuresome spirit comes from. It wants to have a little fun. And so these folks right here, I've noticed a lot of them have an awesome sense of humor too, man. But let's not also forget that the ninth is also about higher education, So Mercury here also suggests, a highly educated individual who, probably is college educated in a lot of cases. But even beyond that, the learning never stops with them. It doesn't matter if they're college educated or not. The learning never stops. Even when they get out of school, it just never stops, man. Shit. They're very smart, but it ain't just about collecting facts and hoarding information with them. No, that's surface level. No, because they want to truly understand everything that they're learning. They want to know everything from the rooter to the tutor. So, hey, that also makes them really want to understand the meaning of life too, man. This ain't just about intelligence. No, this is also about wisdom too. Okay. This isn't somebody who just wants to be smart. This is somebody who wants to be wise. And you get wise by experiencing. Okay? Real talk, man. This placement right here also indicates a real talent for teaching and even writing and, speaking too, because they know how to break down complex ideas into tiny, understandable and digestible chunks. And with that, bon appetit. Bon appetit, man. And the ninth house also rules foreign lands and foreign affairs and long distance affairs or long distance travel, whatever I'm trying to say. So, hey, I've also known that a lot of ninth house Mercury people have a certain affinity for foreign languages. So that's what you saw at the beginning of that. I don't have Mercury in the ninth house. I have Mercury in the 10th house in Leo. But I understand it, man. I understand. I have Uranus and Sagittarius in the 3rd house. I got Neptune and Capricorn in the 3rd house. So mimicking and doing that type of thing is my thing. I can do that most definitely. But these folks right here, like I said, a lot of them have a certain affinity for foreign languages. But even if it ain't that, most of them, really love foreign cultures. And if they give the opportunity in their life, I would really tell them, hey, man, Go experience that if you can, because there's so much to be learned with that, man. You could grow and learn a lot from coming in contact with that, man. And I also know that these people right here, they probably love traveling, but not just physically, man. I know that some of them really like to expand their mind, which, that can come from all kinds of things, from just reading to traveling to, exploring with psychedelics. There's all kinds of ways this can go here. And I've also noticed that a lot of people with this placement, man, they never really felt at home in the place where they grew up. And that's because they felt that they thought way differently than everybody else that they grew up around. And so it kind of made them feel alienated a little bit. And that's hard to grow up on, but eventually they come to integrate because they learn that, hey, the world is their home. And so that's why they go out searching for meaning away from where they grew up, because they felt boxed in a lot of the times. And that doesn't have to be the case, but that is a lot of people I know. And I've dealt with quite a few people personally that have this placement. And lastly, man, if Mercury's occurring later in the ninth house to the point where it's like within 5-degree orb or conjunct the midheaven, then all these traits right here are just going to be greatly intensified. And in some cases, it might even make a motherfucker famous in this case, which that could probably end up, being for activities like teaching or writing. But the sign would definitely tell a lot more about that. So I check that out and see what's going on with that. And on a little side note too with this, man, these people right here absolutely love to talk about philosophy and religion and theology and, the meaning of all that, because they're utterly fascinated with the question of why we exist. Okay. But even if it doesn't play out like that, you don't have to believe a word I just said, because just because you built like that, you don't have to build like that. And what I mean by that is we all have all this energy available to us. What you do with it is what you do with it. And even beyond that, it's not about what you do. It's about how you do it. And that's some priceless knowledge in itself. And there's been some priceless knowledge of self. Hey, this should be the time that you hit the like button if you ain't hit it yet. If you ain't hit the dislike button, you should hit the like button, because once again, I know I went in. I appreciate all the love and support, man, regardless. If you're interested in any astrological readings whatsoever, you can either hit me up in the comments below or email me at mr.turner1300@gmail.com. And hey, same thing goes if y'all are looking for some merch too. But as I always caution you, you can buy all the merch you want and I will sell it to you. I want to. But this type of swag I got, it's got to be in you and not on you. Put it in.